So I have never been a good communicator, partly because I used to be very shy and introverted and struggled with social anxiety, but also because I struggle with general anxiety, and that leads my thoughts to be somewhat chaotic. It makes it very difficult to hold a conversation with another person. It leaves them feeling like I'm disinterested, and it leaves me feeling very confused. So over the past couple of years, I've made a lot of adjustments in terms of my communication strategies. And so in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about how I've become a better communicator, and how it's affected my relationships, both personally and professionally. Before we get started, I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Bridget, and I am a mindset and confidence coach for introverted women. I also have a free Facebook group that I'm going to be linking down below. So if you are a woman on your personal development journey, you're into mindset, want to have better confidence and better relationships, this group is for you. Also, don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful or useful. Comment below what you want to see more from me, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. So let's get into the video. So I apologize if my voice sounds really gross and I sound super nasally. I'm working on getting over a cold, but I knew I needed to get a video out, so bear with me as I yak and cough throughout this whole video. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, communicating has been very difficult, as you can tell. When I was younger, I struggled with social anxiety, so that made it very difficult to make friends, hold conversations, be in public, etc. As I grew out of that, it became easier to meet new people, easier to make friends, easier to be around new faces, but I still struggled with holding a conversation without feeling very anxious about it. And because of this, it made me really bad at communicating and getting my points across and getting my feelings out in the open. So yes, it became very difficult professionally as I went through schooling, contributing to group projects, contributing to presentations, contributing to anything where I had to essentially voice my own opinion or, whatever topic was being discussed. Personally, it affected my life because instead of voicing my opinion or sharing what I was feeling or sharing what was going on, instead of communicating all of that, it was easier to keep it inside because I knew that when I was going to have that conversation, I wasn't going to be able to say what I was thinking. When I'm in a conversation, my thoughts are all over the place. I'm not thinking about one thing, I'm thinking about 10 million things. So anxiety was a big factor in all of these things. So one of the things I've been doing to become a better communicator is listening more to the other person and speaking less. And this is probably one of the most helpful things. And I know this video is about being better communicating, and you wouldn't think that talking less would allow you to communicate better, but it actually does. When I listen more to the other person, I'm more connected to the conversation, right? So I'm not thinking so much about things that don't matter outside this conversation. I'm listening to that person and I'm responding in my head. And because those thoughts are in my head, that's what I'm typically going to say back to them, responding to them. It doesn't always happen that way, but at least I'm generating those thoughts and listening more to that other person so they see that I'm interested in this conversation and I can better gather my thoughts. Another thing that kind of goes along with that is staying more present in the conversation or in your presentation, whatever it is that you're doing, because that could apply to the professional life. Staying more present allows you as a person, the communicator, to listen better, to acknowledge what the person's saying, and to be fully there in that conversation so that you can actually be thinking about that conversation and not think about whatever else you might be thinking about if you struggle with anxiety. Being present allows you to put more focus and more clarity and more energy on that conversation rather than things that don't matter. Another thing that has been helpful is gaining clarity. Because I have always struggled with social anxiety and because I struggle with general anxiety, when I'm more clear about the topic, when I have more knowledge about the topic, I always feel more confident. So the more I know about whatever's going on, which I can also get by listening, the more I know about that general topic helps me to be more clear in my response. It makes me think less about what I'm saying because I know what I'm talking about. Right? So this one really applies more so professionally, I'd say, unless you're having like a philosophical conversation with a friend or your partner. But having more knowledge is always going to give you more power. So if you have that knowledge, it's going to be a lot easier to communicate whatever it is that you're thinking. Another thing is something that I've really only recently been doing, I'd say like the past year. And you guys can probably go back and look at my old videos. You'll see that I didn't really use much body language. I didn't move my hands around a lot, but when I'm moving my hands, I feel like I'm getting my point across better. I feel like I hold more of a position in the conversation. I feel stronger. I feel more empowered in the conversation. Not even just moving your hands, but, you know, listening with your eyes, nodding your head, doing things that help you communicate to that person that you're listening and that you're interested in the conversation. Another thing, which I'm still working on because this one is super hard for me, keeping things brief and keeping things simple. Don't over-explain yourself, don't repeat yourself. This one applies both professionally and personally. No one is going to want to listen you babble on about the same thing over and over and over again. They're not going to want to hear you repeat yourself because they're going to get disinterested. They're going to get bored. I hate when people overtalk, and I sometimes do it. That's why I'm trying to be more cognizant and actively stop myself in conversation when I know that I'm over-explaining. The last thing that I wanted to share with you guys is that practice is going to be super helpful here. Any kind of skill that you want to learn, you need to practice it. You can practice being a better communicator. And you guys have watched me practice be a better communicator on this channel. Every video I watch myself get better and better at communicating whatever topic it is that I'm trying to explain to you guys. If you go back to videos that I'd done 6 months ago or even a year ago, you'll see how many cuts there are, how many edits I had to make, how sometimes my thoughts don't even make sense. And although I knew what it was that I was talking about, I didn't communicate that in a way that made sense to you guys, in a way that was brief and simple and clear and focused. So I really hope this video shows you how far I've come in that process and why I think these things that I just mentioned in the video are going to be super helpful if you want to be a better communicator. Again, these things just take practice. You can do it as long as you want to. So thank you guys so much for watching if you watched to the end of this video. Before I end, I just wanted to mention that spots for my free consults are open. So if you're a woman on your personal development journey, you want to be more confident, have better relationships, I'm going to leave that link in the description below. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful and useful as always, and I will see you next time. Bye.